What's going on with the Chicago Bears? How much longer are we going to suffer through these last-minute losses? This season is on the verge of completely falling apart, and the Bears keep losing in ways we never imagined. The last-second mistakes are nothing new, but who's going to take responsibility for all of this? The pain is real, and the frustration is through the roof. A last-second block, just when victory seemed within reach, has left the Bears heartbroken once again. How does this team bounce back after losing such a huge opportunity? What happened is more than just a play. It's a reflection of the nightmare season we're living through. But there's something the Bears can do about it, and we're going to break it down. Stick with us, the answer is closer than you think. And to top it off, it seems even the veterans are losing their patience. A key player on the Bears defense can't believe the team keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. Coming from a painful past on another team that had its own share of failures, but if he says this is worse, then something has to change. Let's get straight to the point, because this can't go on any longer. Remember that block kick that left us heartbroken on Sunday? What a way to suffer, right? And the worst part is, after all of that, we're still left with more questions than answers. Could the Chicago Bears have gotten closer for a field goal attempt that ultimately got blocked? I think so. But what good is thinking about that now? The damage is already done. What's clear, folks, is that the Bears keep tripping over the same stone. A Hail Mary for Washington 3 weeks ago, and now this block that doomed us against the Packers. Punch after punch. Is this the fate of the season? Are we just going to resign ourselves to living in despair? No, and a no. The team has to rise up, but after a blow like that, how do we keep going? Well, as they say, back to work. Will it be enough? Here's what I'll tell you. It's now or never. DeAndre Swift, one of the team's leaders, said, "We're going to get back to work every day and find a way to make sure this doesn't happen again." Sure, we all know that with the Bears, there's always a promise of improvement. But honestly, how much longer can we keep hearing the same thing? Can we really move forward without a significant change? And yes, I know, the Bears have shown some signs of improvement. We saw it. There were 391 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a couple of moments where we thought there might actually be a real shift. But there was something else, something that can't be ignored, the same old mistakes. Here comes the big question. Was the block kick just bad luck, or is poor execution still killing the Bears? Now, the excuse of a good move by the Packers defender doesn't convince me at all. It's the same old story. It always feels like we're about to pull it off, only to fall again. And what about Jervin Dexter and the lack of leverage against Arizona? Was it the same kind of mistake here? Honestly, I don't know. But with a 4-6 record and 11 consecutive losses to Green Bay, I can't help but wonder what they could have done differently. And don't get me wrong, the good stuff we saw this Sunday can't be denied. There was progress. But how much longer are we going to wait for that big breakthrough? Because with a 0-1 record in the NFC North and a season slipping away, opportunities are running out. Matt Eberflus, the head coach, said, "Tough times don't last, but tough people do." And that's where we have to focus. If the Bears are going to get out of this, they need to watch the tape, fix the mistakes, and most importantly, work with intensity at Hallis Hall. But let's be honest, how will they react after so many setbacks? Will there be a real transformation, or just another back-to-work statement? Now, I ask you all, the real question, what changes do you think the Bears need to make to stop falling into the same mistakes? Is it time for a bigger change, like the offensive strategy, or are we just going to keep playing the same game? Guys, do you realize what's going on with the Chicago Bears? It's not just about the results anymore, no, it's an identity crisis. Montez Sweat, our impressive defensive end, just dropped a bombshell of comments that makes us wonder, how much longer are we going to tolerate this mediocrity in the franchise? It's unbelievable. I'll tell you, if anyone should know what a poorly run team looks like, it's Sweat, who played for the Washington Commanders, one of the most disastrous teams in recent NFL history. And yet, he thinks the Bears' situation in 2024 is even worse. And now, I ask you, doesn't this leave you feeling powerless? How much longer are we going to watch games slip away that, frankly, should already be in the bag? This last game against the Green Bay Packers was another painful reminder of everything that's wrong with the Bears. The Packers. Division rivals, a team that's had its own ups and downs, but once again, they managed to take advantage of a lead that the Bears simply couldn't handle. And here comes Matt Eberflus with his inability to lead the team to play more competitive football when it was needed the most. Unbelievable! Caleb Williams, that young phenom, working magic in the final minutes to give us hope, and Eberflus decides not to take any risks. That, folks, is a lack of boldness that screams for attention. Let me remind you, this team started with promises that we could see a change. But now, it seems like we're stuck in an endless cycle of wrong decisions and a lack of clear direction. When Montez Sweat says he's never seen a team so ineffective in clutch situations, that's a wake-up call. And let's not forget, the guy comes from a team that was a disaster and still has the guts to say this about the Bears. But now, let's get serious. If Eberflus had handled those games against the Packers and Washington Commanders better, the Bears would be sitting in the 6th spot in the NFC right now. Imagine that! What a pain! We're missing out on being in a much more competitive position, and the reason for all of this is poor management of the most crucial moments in the game. So now, I want to know, what do you think? Do you really believe Eberflus has what it takes to pull the Bears out of this hole? Is it time for a change, or is there something we're still not seeing? I'll tell you this, it's time to realize the magnitude of the situation. What more has to happen for drastic decisions to be made? Because at this rate, the 2024 season could end up being an absolute disaster. First, let's talk about what I saw in this game against the Green Bay Packers. It's unbelievable. The Bears are losing, yes, but they've managed to show something we haven't seen in recent weeks. The offense is looking for answers. DeAndre Swift and Roscoe Johnson scored touchdowns, which represented the most points the Bears have put up in a month. But what happened on that final attempt to win the game? A blocked field goal. Seriously? Cairo Santos came up empty on the last play of the game, and that's just not acceptable, not at all. Now, what's undeniable is that the Bears' offense looked more dynamic under Thomas Brown's leadership. Remember him? The guy promoted to offensive coordinator after Shane Waldron's departure. What surprised me most was how Caleb Williams played. Yes, the #1 pick in the draft, folks. This kid shook off those dreadful numbers from the last 3 games. 23 of 31, 231 yards, and 70 yards rushing. Does that sound like a bad performance for a rookie? Of course not. It was his best game since the 35-16 win against Jacksonville, and that, my friends, gives us something to hold on to. And how about the running game? DeAndre Swift running 39 yards for a touchdown on the 3rd drive, breaking that awful streak of 25 possessions without scoring a TD. That's the fight we need to see, folks. Swift has arrived with fire, and that's what we need from everyone on this team. But let's not kid ourselves. This is not enough to silence the overall crisis with the team. Now, I ask you, Bears fans, do you really think this offensive coordinator change is going to be enough to save us from this nightmare? Because, while we've seen some flashes of light, I'm still wondering if this team's final execution is really there. This, folks, is more than just an improvement in numbers. It's a matter of mentality. And I'm wondering, do the Bears have what it takes to close out these kinds of games in the future? Or are we going to keep losing in ways that just break us apart? What do you think, Bears fans? Is this the beginning of something positive, or are we still stuck in a spiral of losses? Attention, Chicago Bears fans! Now that we've broken down what's going on with our team, I want to hear directly from you. What changes do you think the Bears need to make to stop falling into the same mistakes? What tactical or strategic adjustments do you think are necessary to get us out of this rut? Drop your comments below and let me know what you think. Now, the question on everyone's mind, do you really think Eberflus has what it takes to get the Bears out of this hole? Be honest, do you have faith in his ability to turn this team around, or is it time to start looking for a new direction? I encourage you to share your thoughts, because this is a topic that affects all of us. Finally, Bears Nation, do you really think this offensive coordinator change will be enough to save us from this nightmare? Or is it just a quick fix that doesn't address the root of the problem? We want to hear your voices. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and join this passionate fan community that feels like one big family. Together, we break down every play, every move, and every detail about the future of our Bears. Subscribe now and don't miss a minute of all the latest news about our team. And remember, Bears fans, let's keep fighting for our team until the very end. See you in the next video.